Welcome to yet another episode of Red Cape Sports. Stay tuned, everyone. You won't want to miss it because if you have sports cards, we're going to teach you how to take care of them.
This episode's brought to you by Red Cape Films.
Drew Brees continues to rewrite the NFL record books. The New Orleans Saints quarterback broke the league record for career touchdown passes Monday night after topping Peyton Manning's 539 after throwing for 4 touchdown passes against the Indianapolis Colts. However, his hold on the record may be tenuous as Tom Brady is third on the list with 538. And in college basketball news, North Carolina point guard Cole Anthony will miss 4 to 6 weeks after undergoing surgery to repair a partially torn meniscus in his right knee. Anthony was initially ruled out indefinitely on December 15th. The freshman is projected to be a top 5 pick in the upcoming 2020 NBA draft if he declares. He's been a bright spot for the team, averaging a team-high 19.1 points per game and 6 rebounds and 3.5 assists and even 2 steals. Now, the Carolina Tar Heels are currently in a 3-game skid that brought the record to 6-4, and they currently fell out of the top 25 in the AP Top 25. And in moving on into NBA news, Milwaukee's impressive run was halted the other night as the Dallas Mavericks stopped them and defeated them 120 to 116 without star Luka Doncic. Doncic was ruled out for the game, however, it looks like his timetable back upon return is 2 to another 4 weeks, so hopefully Luka will be back soon. Well, that's all here on Sideline Report. Stay tuned, you don't want to miss it.
Power play! On this episode, I'm going to focus on how to store and protect your sports cards. I think having a visual, we've got the overhead so we can kind of see what I'm doing in front of me, but to have a visual as to how this works and why you do it, at least from my opinion. By the way, this isn't going to be the best way. I used to collect cards back in the day, which I'll talk about when I was much younger. This is about 13 years ago, and I've recently gotten back into it. So let's get going. And basically what I have here are some NBA Hoops cards, basketball cards, and I believe a Pokemon card. So pretty much what you'll get, say you buy a box and you open up packs, you're going to have your cards. Now, the question many of you may have is, how do I protect the cards? What do I do with them? How do I make sure that they're in pristine condition? Does it matter? Well, the simple answer is yes, it does matter. Here's what you want to do. Some people will ask and say, hey, I have dust on my card, how do I clean it? Typically, you just don't want to touch the card. What you can use are cloths for lenses, for glasses or camera lenses. These are very affordable and you can clean off dust if you do see some. Again, be aware of the corners and pretty much scratching the cards. You don't want to do this. This card is really nice. It's actually centered really well too. We'll get into that. Hopefully we'll have Frank on too, and he'll discuss how he would grade cards or not. But typically centering is just when the card is actually printed in the center of the card. So you don't have, the picture on one side or the other, same ways as your X and Y axis, up and down. But typically you want a clean card. And what you want to do is get a penny sleeve, which is over here actually. So these are very cheap. These are modern card sleeves. So these are modern card sleeves, also known as penny sleeves. Typically, they come in 100 sleeves, and I got these for $1.15 or something like that. That's Canadian. So I'm sure you can get them even cheaper if you bulk order them. But what you want to do is grab a sleeve like this. Okay. What I do is I just pinch it a little bit and see how it opens. Just pinch it a little bit because you want to be aware of the corners. So no matter what the card is, try not to touch it too much with your hand. I always kind of touch it from the outside. And then what you want to do is just pinch it a little bit and it makes it open. And then you put a corner in and you slide in the rest. Now, every time you do this, you have the potential of ruining the card. But automatically when you get your cards, whether it's going to be a long hold, short hold, especially if you pull something good like we'll talk about in here. I do have some rookies in here. You want to immediately put them in these sleeves, and that's what we're doing today. So that's one form. You could take this, put it into a box, or go into your binder and put it in there as well. It's not a bad method. Already it beats the first method that we talked about, just wrapping it with something from the kitchen, which again is better than doing nothing. So then what you want to do, once you have your card in a nice penny sleeve, what you want to do is put it in a top loader. Now, this is what I do with the majority of my cards, and then I leave it there. So if it's a rookie, what I do have is a rookie top loader. So this is a rookie one, and it's marked nice, so when you put it into a box, it's very easy to identify. I know it seems like, oh, big deal, it has just rookie card on there, but communication is key, organization is key. I tell you, I got a messy room at home, but my cards are very organized. It helps. So what you want to do is, again, you don't want to pinch, but you want to find the edge, because on the edge it's open a little bit more because it's tighter in the middle. Put one corner in, and then you just drop it down. Now what I do is I put it in about most of the way, and then what I'll do is just kind of let gravity do the rest of the work. And now you can see it's all the way at the bottom. I try to make it so it's not completely at the bottom. There's a couple millimeters left. Then that'll give it some wiggle room. This right here is, here, let's move this up. This right here is a very good way of storing your cards already. Now, in theory, I could, put this in a box, move it around. What you can do as well is grab a piece of tape, and the tape is key. You want to use either green or blue painter's tape. It won't leave residue on your cards. Please do not use this stuff on your cards for anything. For packaging when you send it out, but don't put it on the plastic at all. There's no reason. People ship me cards with this, and it's not good. Like, you don't want this. This won't leave residue. This, even if you get on the card, you could take it off and it won't ruin the card. This will mess up cards. Do not use this. Don't use that. Don't use that. So, what you want to do, if the card is loose, typically you don't want to put tape on it at all. But if you're shipping it and if you're afraid the card's going to get loose, put one on the top. And then again, around the back. And if you want, you could even do it in such a way where it's easier for, yourself to peel off or somebody else. What you could do is just do a little thing like this. So now it's easier to take off. And now you have a really well protected card. I would be really happy with this. In fact, I would say 95% of my cards are protected like this. So if you look at that, very nice. So that's one way. Let's get into a different way. Now, this is probably Bird's favorite way. We've argued over this, believe it or not. He thinks this is probably the best way to protect your cards, even beyond this. So if I turn on this side, what you see at the bottom, these little notches, once it's in, you put the card in and it just works on magnets. So what we could do here is we got a little Trey Turner card, very cool Topps Chrome card. Put it inside. And I believe this will only work with modern cards. You'll know the difference. So again, you put it inside. Make sure no corners are exposed. And then you drop it like this. So now, you could shake it. It's not going to get damaged. And I believe the upside to this is that you'll have more protection from the light. So over time, cards you'll have in a binder, they'll start turning yellow, as well as something like this. So unless you store it properly, this will protect better over time. So a way to protect it, again, just lift it from the top, and then it pulls out like that. And then you could take out your card however you want. That's kind of a cool way. Same thing, I believe a Pokemon card will fit in here too. Yep. So again, if you want to protect Pokemon cards, you could put them in these nice, you could put them in here, just slide this in and let it fall. And that's a really nice way. It's a good way to ship it too. And again, what I would do, grab a piece of painter's tape, not the other tape, painter's tape, and then just tape this over. So again, this won't accidentally fall or get damaged. Now you have a well-protected card. You can mark it when you bought it, what you bought it for. And again, this is a really great way. The one downside is the cost of it. This will run you, oh man, hard to say exact price. This would probably run you like 30 cents, 50 cents at most, when this would be at least $1 or $2. So, and then the other way, and I believe this is how you send cards in for grading, is this little sleeve. So BGW, I believe this is what you use when you send cards in to get graded. So what I would do, again, get a card sleeve. And they do have thick sleeves too. So if you do have older cards, or if they're bigger, you have the thick sleeves. But the thick sleeves will not fit in these top loaders. So I don't use them really. So let's grab this Trae Young rookie. This is a very good card. This is a card I am selling actually. I have other ones of him. Maybe we'll clean that first. So again, see a little bit of dust here. A little dirty mark. Just lightly. Keep these cards clean. It seems like, there's so much care with card collectors, but it makes sense. I mean, there's a huge difference between a 9 graded and a 10. You're talking about doubling your money oftentimes. So again, you can use gravity, but what you can do is kind of use your finger just to push it in the rest of the way. Just feel the card. Use common sense. Don't wreck the card. Just let gravity do the work. You can even pinch the sides. This one's a lot harder to get in here. It's also, this card kind of sticks a little bit more, but I can push it down a little bit more. Something like that is quite nice. Let's get into another little method here too. So if you don't have sleeves, and if you're just, you just have cards that you're not super, you don't care as much about, what you can do is take a few cards. I'll grab these guys for now. And then you could just put them in something like this. This is just a plastic card holder. And then you just have a little lid. So that is a way. I mean, I feel like this is a good way to protect cards. If you immediately do this and leave it, I wouldn't recommend it because you're taking them in and out. In fact, the holder on them isn't so great. I think I would rather stack these than just stack cards in one of these. They get scratched more easier. You typically what's going to ruin cards and damage them is you playing with them. Obviously, I think we're beyond the days of throwing cards at a wall. But again, just using common sense, using multiple sleeves, I think is the best way. Multiple, thicknesses and protection. So, but the other way of protecting your cards is to get them graded. Now, once you get them graded, obviously it costs more, probably costs the most. However, when they're graded, they have, I believe, protection from light, and then they're not going to get damaged because they're properly inserted by a professional company. So this is a PSA one. This is a Ronald Acuna 10. It's graded 10 too. This is a really cool card. I've been waiting a long time to get this one in. And then the ultimate way, again, is to get them into, you get them graded. Once they come back, you put them into a team bag. So again, you just roll it over. And then bam. This is like the ultimate way, these two, how to store cards. I would say that these are my favorite ways of storing and protecting cards. Again, you can put them in a binder, but I don't like that idea. And unless you're gonna stack them up nice where, gravity isn't flattening them, this is the best way. These sleeves and the graded cases are going to protect the cards, and they're not gonna fold or bend in any weird way. So again, if I line it up, I'm gonna go from best to worst in my opinion. I do like this, but I don't think it's better. And then again, this is a thicker card, and this would fit in a thicker plastic. We'll do, just grab a card sleeve. Now, when you have a thicker card, this is a Robert Thomas. This is Bird's favorite hockey player, Robert Thomas. On a card like this, you just got to really take your time. Otherwise, you'll wreck the card. Especially when they have the jersey one, you might need to use the thicker ones. But I got this one pretty good. And this one you could see, it's hard to see, but it is thicker on the top. At the top, there's a lot more room in comparison to a different card. It is thicker, so it will fit the thicker cards. So again, put it in like this. Push it down. So let me take this out just to kind of show you the differences. But in my opinion, I really don't like this method much. But in my opinion, I would say that this is the best way, and it starts declining from there of protecting your cards in terms of using your penny sleeves, top loaders, those types of options. I find that this is the best way to protect your cards. And again, think about it logically, you know, how am I going to protect my cards? Okay, so let's get into the storing of cards. Now that you've officially protected your cards, what are you going to do with them? You're just going to stack them, you know, are you just going to leave them on the table? What are you going to do? So for me, one way is to put on your desk. You can do something like this if it's graded. That's more than fine. I don't see your card getting wrecked. You could then get an empty box and start putting your cards in there. Again, not the best way. One method that people have done for a long time is they have gone to the binder. Now this is a old binder. This is, I believe, hockey cards in a baseball card album. But this is the old way that most kids were storing cards when I was growing up. So even got Mario Lemieux here. These are very old cards, but as you can see here, even upon inspection, these cards have gone up. And the corners are all beat up because these cards were mint when I got them. Me and Gary Roberts. And then if you notice as well, they're stacked on top of each other, which I don't like. So this is one way to protect your cards, but I never recommend something like this because here again, you've got some cool Mario Lemieux cards, but the tops are exposed, and if you look at the top of the card, they're really messed up. Like even at the corners here, not the best way. And the plastic is kind of getting messed up as well. And then you have all that pressure of each layer stacked on top of each other. So when you think about it in theory, they're just getting pushed. And when you grab it, the cards slip and slide a little bit. I wouldn't recommend using binders. I think it's a method that shouldn't be used anymore. So let's talk about one of the ways I prefer, and that is to get yourself something like this. This is just a card box that you get, and you should be able to assemble this yourself. What you can do immediately, what I do is I covered it up, but you put your info here, put a piece of sticker, or maybe even just on the box because you don't want sticker to fall off. Put your phone and number, maybe some reward if somebody finds your cards if they're expensive. And then what I do is my cards that I don't see as much value with. So these are just kind of like Tim Hortons cards. What I'll do is I'll just kind of stack them and then put them inside a box like this. Now these other boxes, I've got them stacked the same way. This is a good way to protect them. Kind of keep them on the side or upright depending on the box. And then, you can grab something soft and then, push it to the side so that your cards aren't slipping and sliding. This is one way. But again, I recommend going the other way where you have bigger boxes. So we'll put it here for now. So this is going to be an empty box. Now, this one has a lid. I believe you can put up to 500 cards in here. And if you look inside here, this one's empty. It's already starting to bend a little bit, this guy. Yeah, this one wasn't assembled the best, but I mean, it still works. But anyways, this is where you can put a lot of your cards. You know, if they're not in top loaders and all that, you just put them inside and then you leave them in here. It's a good spot, in my opinion. If you do use a team bag, they're going to be harder to fit properly. They're going to kind of be pinched in a little bit more. If you're going to put them in here in top loaders, team bags, top loaders are fine. Top loaders, it fits nice. You can put all the cards you want going this way. But what I do is I'll stack them. I'll show you in the other one. And I'll put them on the side like this. And then I'll stack them going this way. So instead of going, vertically, I'll go horizontally. So that's kind of one way of doing it. So that's what a box looks like. This works really well. Again, write your name. These are great. This is just an empty one that I'll eventually want to fill up. Now, let me just give you guys a little look into my cards, some of them. Now, this is probably more of my holy grail of cards at the moment, ones I'm investing into. So this is how I store my cards. As you can see, I have some graded here. And always I'll grab a piece of something that was shipped to me, like bubble wrap, and I'll use it to kind of fill in the gap so nothing slides. And again, you could use elastic. I'll use elastic on the outside, just make sure it's not too tight. But here I got like a Luka Doncic graded card. I've got some other ones as well I probably shouldn't share with. But again, just put something in there like so, and that's going to help kind of protect your cards. If you protect your cards long term, it's going to be worth it. There's nothing worse than having bad cards. So what I do typically, I'm going to be straightforward with it. I will get cards, and whether or not I want to grade them or not, I'm going to put them on this side. Now, once they're on this side, some of them I will keep, for example, like in, I'll keep them in a team bag. But what I'll do is I'll rate grade with question mark. Same thing with these. So I'll have other cards in here. And if you're wondering, I do have all the Zion Williamson cards. I have them all. I'm trying to own 51% of the market. So anyways, you'll put these cards like this. Keep them in a penny sleeve top loader with a rookie card. All these are rookies. Probably better way to invest. Think about it in terms of first edition. And then these as well. These are some other ones. So I have all these cards in this section that I'm going to then give to Frank or have somebody inspect it. And then they're going to say whether to grade or not. If he says to grade them, then I stack them over here. And then eventually I ship all of these off to get graded. If they're not graded, then what I do is I put them in my no grade section. And these are going to be my ungraded cards. Either they're not centered properly, or there's some corner issues, or it's just not that rare of a card. So again, these other ones that we had done previously, I could take my Acuna Matata, put him in there, and now he's in a good spot. Eventually, that empty box will be full of just graded cards and non-graded cards. And that's kind of the goal. That's the way I'm working the system. So eventually, once I have enough cards in here, I will take them and put them in there. Maybe we can go through a couple of the ones I do have. Like a lot of this are like RJ Barrett cards, mostly basketball, Kyle Kuzma, and then again, tons of Zions. So that's kind of what I'm looking into now. I would say it's mostly, Zion, which is still a risk, but the other ones, like the stack, is less of a risk. These are established players. So that's kind of how I would store the cards. Again, this is a great way. Even when I move this around, it's stored nice. Again, I do have a piece of, bubble wrap that I got from a package. I folded it and I put it in here just so nothing's moving around as much. One way to divide it is I grab a top loader and then I'll put a piece of green tape and I'll write something on it. That's a good way of organizing your cards as well. And it's a great way to divide them. It fits nice in here. So I like being organized with the cards. I write on tape, then put the tape on the box, because if you do it the other way around, then it's hard to, erase things. So I prefer to use it on tape, and I always have a clean box. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, because at the end of each month, we're going to be giving away free packs of cards. We don't know if they're going to be baseball, football, basketball, UFC cards. We don't know yet. But again, thank you guys so much for watching. We hope to see you guys in the next episode.
Pack Time. This Pack Time is brought to you by FNC House of Cards, sports cards, and collectibles.
Hi guys, so on this installment of Pack Time, we're going to be opening up some Topps Chrome Baseball. And we've actually got a beauty pack right here. We've got a 4 bonus Sophia, so these are going to be like, I guess Sophia Tone should be like more grayscale type packs. We'll do that second. And let's try to get some Acuñas. Either Acuna or I believe Tatis is what we're looking for. Got a Merrifield Wick card. These cards are beautiful. Then we got a Paul St. Louis Cardinals card. And we got a Brian Anderson Future Stars card. Very cool. And then we've got a Marcus Stroman. That's a nice little card there. Beautiful. No rookies, I don't believe. So let's get to this bad boy. No issues opening up the packs. We got a JP Crawford. Very cool. And we got a Cedric Mullins, a rookie card. This is cool, man. Kind of like these. Throw that off to the side. And we got a Orlando Arcia card. Then we got a Polanco, which is still a good card. And that's what we have for you guys. Don't forget, like, comment, and subscribe to have your chance to win 2 packs of cards. These are going to be the next 2 packs that I open. If not, maybe some Panini Prisms instead. But we got some cool things. We do have UFC on the way. And don't forget, at the end of each month, as long as you guys like, comment, and subscribe on the latest video, you are automatically entered in for a chance to win 2 packs of cards at least. We might even have a few more. And for Christmas, we're going to have a special giveaway. So see you guys next week.
Thank you all so much for tuning in to this episode of Red Cape Sports. I hope you all learned a thing or two about protecting your sports cards and really how important it is. Until next time, I'm Bird Bouchard.